Welcome to the Conscious Corners. This evening, Professor Ra won't be with us. He's out this evening, but he should be back next week. But we do have our co-host, Joe Hembrick, historian Joe Hembrick, and I'm the fill-in host, Rasaki Maskani. And we welcome everybody to the show this evening. On the panel, other than historian Joe Hembrick, we have Brother Mashinda. And our guest this evening is live from Ghana. It's Dr. Sharita Yazid. And the topic this evening is repatriation back to Africa with a solid plan. So we're really excited to hear from Dr. Sharita. And she's been in Ghana for a while, but she's always, I think, back and forth. She'll tell us about it, but I think she's back and forth to the States. And she's going to tell us a little bit about herself, and we're going to get started. So welcome, Dr. Sharita.
Greetings, peace and love and power, my family. How's it going?
It's going real well.
Over there in the United States of America.
It's about the same. And I appreciate you coming on. And I know it's 1 a.m. out there in Ghana, but we really appreciate you coming on and sharing this great information with us. So I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, and we can get started with the presentation.
Okay, yeah, thank you for having me. First and foremost, giving praises, thanks and praises to the Most High. And we give thanks and praises to our ancestors whose shoulders we stand upon and whose backs we lean upon. I am Dr. Sharita Yazid. I'm a mother of 6, 4 grandchildren. I am the CFO of the Goss Corporation, New Body Products, which was started by my parents, Dr. Paul Goss and Alzonia Goss. One of our main companies is the New Body Products herbal company that's been around since 1976. And we have over 135 different products and 20,000 distributors of the product. And I also have a store. We also have a store called New Earth in Compton, and I opened up a store here in Ghana about a year and a half ago. And it's a lot to be said. I'm a naturopath. I do iridology. I also do TV and radio here in Ghana in reference to talking about health. And every Thursday we have a health watch on YouTube live stream coming straight from Ghana in reference to talking about different, health topics, whether it's food or exercise, meditation, mental health, what have you. And I want tonight to talk about repatriation, which is returning home. But this is returning home with a plan. A lot of times, we always dream and fantasize about living in Africa. And some of us have visited, and think that this is something that we might want to do to get away from America. But you definitely have to have some kind of plan. Just like you moving from LA to New York, you still would have to have some kind of plan. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you just fine.
Okay, just want to make sure. Yeah, so one of the things that I always tell people to do first and foremost is deal with your health. Make sure that you are in the best health. And if you're not, then you want to make sure that you have plans for your medical care if you decide that you wanted to live here. That's first and foremost. We've had too many people come here. They think they can do the normal thing that they would do over in the States, and they don't take the proper precautions and then end up falling sick. And, we've lost some people that way. So it's really, really good to make sure that your health is in order. You do a detox at least 2 weeks before. You take different things like wormwood and black walnut, golden still, aloe, anything that's like bitters, just different types of bitters. It's good to have the blood to be bitter. One, it helps keep it clean, but two, it helps clear out parasites as well as prevent you from being affected by the bites from mosquitoes. And a lot of times it also keeps the mosquitoes from biting you. Mosquitoes like sweet blood. So you want to do different things to cleanse your blood. You want to make sure that you have things in there to take out parasites. And you want to fortify your body as well. You want to make sure that you're taking in a good amount of different antioxidants like vitamin C and selenium and vitamin D, which of course you're going to get when you come here. Vitamin A, and you want to make sure that you're taking certain herbs that help with building the immune system as well. Like elderberry, black seed, astragalus, taking lots of things like Irish moss that has lots of minerals, also pulls out a lot of mucus and builds the immune system. So you just want to make sure that you fortify your body first. And if you are dealing with some sort of ailment where you have to deal with a doctor on a regular basis, then you have your doctor to try to find you a doctor here. Or if you have someone who's assisting you in coming here, let them know everything. I do it as a service when people want to use me to help them transition everything, like as far as work, doing a business, and with the children, and things like that. So this is some of the information that I will get from the person as far as their health. And say if they're dealing with, we have somebody coming over here with dialysis, for example. I would find someone, find an office for that person to go to, or a clinic for that person to go to, and all that stuff will be done, ahead of time before coming. So the health is definitely one of the most important things you want to deal with when it comes down to moving to a whole nother world, in a sense, So we can go into more questions and things in reference to health, but I want to go ahead and get into what it takes to what's the saying? Come visit me and come live with me is two different things. So, and I would say that repatriation or moving back to Africa is not necessarily for everyone. So, because it's not easy living in a country that you didn't grow up in, or you weren't part of that type of community, even in America. Some of us are caretakers for our family, so we have to, consider those things. And and some of us are not being positive, right there, in just not having a positive mindset. So, you may not be a benefit to Africa. I like to say, like even with my children and my parents as well, always be an asset wherever you go. So if you're coming here to do some of the same things that we do over there, that's not positive, it's best to keep that over there, because one thing about Africa, it will chew you up and spit you out if you come over here with wrong intentions. And I actually believe it's our own ancestors that that recognizes that and says, you know what, no, you don't need to be here. We came home for, positive purposes. And we need to stay focused on, making ourselves better as well as making the communities around us better as well. Africa is still, I would say, redeveloping it herself. There is lots and lots of real estate, lots of building going up as far as hotels and just businesses, office businesses, different estates. And as far as the infrastructure in reference to the roads, government buildings and things like that, there's so much happening, throughout Africa. And so you'll see that there's a lot of development, but then you also go into areas where it's not so developed. And you may have to get used to being in those areas sometimes, because if you're traveling from one place to the other and you have to stop in a place, overnight, then you have to make, certain adjustments. And I would say, even though in Ghana there's been, they say it's close to 10,000 of us over here now, as far as diaspora and Africans from the U.S., South America, Canada, the Caribbean, the UK. There's a lot of us here, but we're kind of in different places according to the lifestyle that we want to live. But I would say that even, I think we've been here about 50 years plus. And I still feel like a lot of us are still kind of in the pioneering stage. So like even for me, my friends and family, I feel like they're kind of looking at me as a guinea pig. Let's see what happens to you. And I've been here myself for 18 years. So I think I'm past that guinea pig stage, and I have enough to be able to share and be able to help people to come over and, and enjoy themselves. So settling down in Africa can be, it can be rough at sometimes, but attitude is always key. You need to have an attitude of altitude. You have to always vibrate on a high frequency. I feel like everywhere you go. So when you're dealing with those cons, of moving here, then you'll be able to handle situations from a educated perspective, and dealing with it on the spiritual level will definitely make things easier for you. And if you have the proper mindset, whatever you put out, that's what you receive. You smile at a Ghanaian here, they will smile back. You frown at them, they're just kind of looking at you like, okay, what's the anger about? Yeah, but you pretty much get what you put out. And people are really open to helping here. If someone asks you how you're doing and you not doing too well, then they're going to find a way to try to help you, try to figure out, what the situation is, whether they have the money or not, or the food or not. They're going to take out the time to make sure that you're okay, as opposed to sometimes, our attitude in America is like, okay, well, that's your problem. I got my own problems. You don't really have that type of attitude here. Even once a lot of diasporans come here, they adopt that attitude of, okay, let's kind of look out, for each other. It just kind of becomes habit, contagious, I guess. So one of the different ways that you need to prepare is, set a timetable. Decide what country that you might be interested in, or maybe you want to visit several countries. Find friends that you might work with or go to school with or go to church with that are from some of those countries, and learn as much as you can, from somebody personally. And then, of course, there's plenty of stuff online. There's plenty of books in the library. There's many websites and YouTube channels that you can go to that will get you more familiar with all aspects of Africa. So from the poor villages, whatever, to the rich, palaces and all the businesses and all the different things, you'll be able to expose yourself. So get as much information as possible. I would say a realistic timetable would be 2 to 5 years. If you're a person that's working and you're going to be retiring in 10 years, and I know a sister, she had never been to Africa, and she wanted to, she just knew this is where she was going to be. So she was retiring. So she had set everything up. In 10 years, I'm going to be in Ghana. She got everything in order. And when she retired, not long after her retirement, she was here, packed everything, and came straight to Ghana, and had never been to Africa before. And she did well. So she planned really well too. She planned her trust, her will, something happened to her, just all kind of different things. She was making sure that she had her things in order. I would say first come take a visit though. You want to make sure that this is something that's for you. The first time I came with 80 people, and it was only, I think we were here for like 6 days, and it was a packed schedule. And we were able to, me and my mother was able to go off the tour because there was a sister that was pregnant and she caught malaria. And a sister friend here that was on the ground, she knew what to do. So we moved her from the tour. We went to the sister's house and then took care of her. And then at that time, that's when I was able to kind of see how people are living and just, the whole different environment of outside of being on a tour. And that's when I realized, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can live here. So it's good to make that first visit, and I would say definitely more than 6 days. 6 days is really tight. Come for at least a couple of weeks, move around to, 3, 4 regions. There's about 16 in Ghana. And then you'll be able to, decide if this is for you or not. Like I said, visit like several countries if you can. And then you can also make it to where you might want to be between countries or bi-coastal. So like me lately, I've been going from the States to Ghana over the past maybe year and a half, every 2 months, which has become too taxing for me. And trust me, I wouldn't, if it wasn't for our family business, I would never come back to America. I would never, you would always be hearing about me from somewhere else on the planet. But so before that, I would be in America maybe 4 months out of the year. In between, maybe 2 months in the beginning of the year and 2 months in the summer or something like that. And then at one point in time, I stayed here 3 years straight. So it's up to you how you want to move. A lot of people that's into IT, they just kind of move around from place to place, especially the younger ones, between 25 and I would say 45 that's into IT. I've met many of them that just travel around to just different countries and they just work from wherever they are. So you have to decide that too, as far as that. And then also, if you have children, you want to consider how you want to educate your children. You might want them to go into an international school, which are great schools out here. They're very expensive, but these children get everything in these schools. Or you might want them to go to a school in the village, because you might decide that you want to get into some farming or something, so you'd be more than likely in the village. And there it's beneficial too, because your children end up learning several languages, especially if they're young. And then you might consider doing homeschool, which is, mine was kind of both. I did homeschool as well as had them in school as well. And I was just with a sister this weekend that has 3 children. She's Ghanaian, but she lives in Oakland, California. And she was coming to pick up her children to bring them back to the States, but most of the time they're out here. And they're doing homeschool. Matter of fact, there's several families like this where they're doing homeschool, but they're doing school in America. So their school starts at 4 p.m. here. I'm sorry, 3 p.m. here in Ghana, where it's starting at 8 o'clock in Oakland. And so this is how they've been doing this for several years. And then she just brings them back, I guess, for the summer break. But she wanted to make sure that her children spent more time in Africa. So you have all these different ways of making sure that your children are able to get their education, whether you still want them to have a U.S. education or you want them to have an education here, on this side. There's different organizations of different parents that have come together with the homeschoolers. So the homeschoolers, just like over in the States, the children have other children to interact with. So there's a lot of different things. And when it comes down to educating your children here, you have no problem. Matter of fact, my children were I had them here, and when they went back to America, they were 2 years ahead of everybody. It's just that, for some reason, I don't know if it's just California, the most they would do is just skip you up to 1 grade, and they were just going through the lessons with no problem. So consider that. And I would say the best age is up to about 10, 11 at the most. Once you get past that age, sometimes it gets to be really difficult to bring a child over here, away from the rest of their family and friends and things like that, unless you raise them with them understanding at some point in time, we will be living in Africa. We're going to move to Africa. And it's already in their head that that's going to happen. Otherwise, it might be kind of difficult to bring children over 11 over here without kicking and screaming. Now, it can happen. Once they get over here, they'll get used to it. But they might give you a hard time in the beginning. I've seen it happen. Now, when it comes down to your income, you definitely need to have some source of income. So, for example, we have lots of retirees and people who have come and they're living off their Social Security, off their pensions, or some kind of residual income, and they're able to, the money goes pretty far. So, for example, the house that I'm in is a 5-bedroom, 5-bath. I have hot water, central hot water at the top. I'm on a well. I have AC in all my rooms. My electricity bill is usually less than $100 a month. And my rent here is only $500. And I'm in I would say, the community has different classes as far as the lower class, middle class, upper class. Which I like. It has all the classes together because everybody has a certain purpose in the community. I feel really safe here. I feel like I can go right now and take a walk, and not have to worry about anything. Not saying that all of Ghana is like that. I'm just saying where I'm at right now. But I can get away with maybe, depends on how I'm living, $1,500 to $2,000 a month in reference to my expenses. Now, keeping in mind, I do have a car, so I do have, transportation. Um, I don't eat out a lot, but I do have certain places I like to go, and they might cost. Um, Sometimes I want to go, like this weekend. I went on a small retreat, so the distance might be a little far. Um, and then paying for hotels, and things like that. So it just kind of depends on what I'm doing, but I would say $1,500 to $2,000 a month, and also including your food, and things like that is more reasonable if you're trying to live the same lifestyle or a better lifestyle than you're living in America. Otherwise, if you don't have some kind of income already coming in, then you want to make sure that you're setting up your own business. It's hard to kind of come over here to get a job, like you can just go apply for a job, over there. Unless you're working for like maybe an American company and then they transfer you over here, or if you're working for the government. Other than that, you pretty much have to have your own business. And, it's always good to employ people here as well. So you definitely want to plan your income, and that's something I consult people with as well. I try to figure out what your talents are and what kind of things you can do, what's available here. Like one guy has a t-shirt business in the States, and he wanted to do that over here. And definitely they make t-shirts here. So it's just a matter of showing them how to work with things that are already here on the ground, or helping them bring over equipment. So they got to deal with import and things like that. So you have to look at different ways that you can make income. Okay, just notes here. Just want to make sure I'm touching on whatever. Okay, like so some of the different businesses that you might want to consider is agriculture. Definitely who feeds you also controls you. And we want to make sure that agriculture stays in our hands. That is changing, I won't say rapidly, but definitely changing with the Chinese coming in, doing their thing, and as well as other European countries, and making it to where this big commercial agriculture will take over the smaller farmer. So it'd be good to get into agriculture, and then there's different things you can get into. Like I'm into cashews myself, and also I'm working with dealing with sea moss as well. So just dealing with the import export side of it, and then definitely IT. Definitely IT. You can always get work there. Sanitation is also a big one that can be used here in Ghana. So if you have some kind of sanitation system set up, that'll be wonderful. Definitely getting into minerals as far as different resources, commodities. You can also deal with export of finished made products from Africa, whether it's food or skincare, clothing, different types of arts, painting, sculptures, things like that. These are just different things that you can get into. I talked to a sister yesterday that actually was from Compton. Well, she lived in Compton up until the age of 14, and then went to Chicago. But she's running a restaurant out here, managing a restaurant. But on her other days, she's teaching in the beauty salons because she's a beautician. But she talked about how there's not really real regulation here. So when it comes down to dealing with the sanitation and dealing with certain type of chemicals, trying to go as natural as possible, trying to help people that grow their hair, just different things that she thought would enhance the beauty industry here. She's been able to go into several salons, and they've accepted her to come in to teach them or to consult them. So she's making money that way. One girl came and set up a what do you call it? I guess kind of like a factory for making different clothes. She's a designer, and she came and set up, a space, hired different seamsters that you would find in some of these schools. And then she set up her, got a person to help oversee things. So when she's not around, so she trained somebody really well, and they just, duplicate different fashion that she has made. So she doesn't have to be here all the time. She can always send pictures of something that she sees in the States, and then send it over here and tell them to make a prototype, and because we have video and, pictures and things that we can send, we're able to manifest something quickly because of that. So it's just different things that you want to consider on how you're going to be making your money, when you come here. Yeah, and also you just want to research the country and see what commodities or what industries are more prevalent in those countries. For example, Rwanda is really big with flowers, different types of flowers, black tea, white tea. They're into macadamia nuts, cashews. What else did I see there? Definitely potatoes. For some reason, it was potatoes everywhere. And I remember reading on their website about kiwi. Is really good to grow kiwi for export. So just research the country and see what's available as far as different ways you can make money. Also consider the country that you want to when you want to live in different countries. It might be different things that attract you, maybe because of the history of that country. It might be the people. It might be the climate. I like Ghana because it's tropical. It can be kind of humid sometimes, like it is has been lately. But I would prefer to be in that as opposed to being in a very dry, desert area. So you might want to consider the environment as well. Also, the current political climate. See, check the media and check the local media of the country, not necessarily CNN and the U.S. channels, because we already know the kind of information that they give about Africa is so off. And because that's on purpose, they don't want us to come here, so make it look bad. But check the political climate of the country that you're coming into. And then you might want to be in a country that's really, progressive or has an area like Nigeria, Lagos, Ghana, Accra, South Africa, Johannesburg, and Cape Town. You might want to be in a more progressive community or place. So, you want to look at those things as well. Sometimes people want to go to the country that they found their DNA to be as well. Like I said earlier, read history books, but also look at current newspapers and magazines from that country, again, from that country. A lot of things are already online. They have their, papers online in a PDF. If it's not in English, you can get it translated. And then you can find out more about, like, just real news as far as, it's not just always bad news. It's just what's happening, on the ground in that country.
So Dr. Sharita,
Mm-hmm.
this is a wealth of information, and I want to kind of go around the panel, see if they have any questions so far. So can we interject right now?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it. Lots of good information you just gave there. Uh, Historian Joe Hembrick, you there?
Yeah, it unmute.
Okay. So you have any questions or comments for Dr. Sharita?
Uh, First of all, greetings, Dr. Sharita. I was loving the information you were giving. Actually, I've just been reading about that area in around the 14th, 15th, 16th century with in Dr. John G. Jackson's book, Introduction to African Civilization. It was talking about the commerce that was going on in that area. And the
Mm-hmm.
best thing I liked was the fact of people greeting each other, acknowledging you smile at someone, they smile at you, where, you know, you don't get that here on the plantation all the time, which is where we are.
Right.
I was loving that information. I've been a customer of your store for years.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I go there and get herbs all the time. I guess the guy was your cousin, and then I knew Brother Greg that I don't know if he's still there or not. But I love
Greg, oh my God, that's so long ago. I think I was almost a kid.
Brian.
Wow.
Yeah, Brian.
Brian, okay, Brian. Okay, that's more recent.
That's the Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Yeah, but I go
Right.
and other stuff. But anyway, I'm a retired teacher. I taught in the
Mhm.
Linwood area for like about 39 years. So, and I have my own garden here in my backyard. I was out there working earlier today. But it sounds good. About I'm 70 years old now, and I try to stay in pretty good health. Uh, but that would be a concern of mine. I had a neighbor that used to own the house next door to me. She was from Ghana, and she's here as a nurse out at Cedar Sinai Hospital. And she used to tell me if I want to go back to let her know, and she'd have her people come pick me up and give me the showing. But I really like the information that you were giving out about people that might want to visit versus living there and all of that. So I'll let someone else comment, but I appreciate the information.
Thank you. You want?
Okay. All right, Brother Mashenda.
I had a question. One question though, I
Okay.
forgot. You were talking about uh, the development, and it seems like the Chinese are, trying to take over. What's going on with all of that?
Well, no, mainly the infrastructure. So the roads. They built a couple of the government, like the Superior Court and some other things. Mainly it's the roads because of course you have good roads and many roads, then you're able to have more economic empowerment. And so by building the roads, of course, they're looking out for themselves, which we know they are. Um, and that's a lesson we can learn ourselves is to look out for ourselves when it comes down to our economic empowerment. But yeah, but that's what's happening. I mean, it's not like other people are not getting contracts. But definitely, I've seen Brazilians building one of the bridges, the new Kwame Nkrumah's bridge. The Lebanese have been here for over 150 years. The Indians have been here about as longer. And when people are coming in, they're coming in as a group. Like the Lebanese has this things where they always have these different business groups. So you have several different businesses that fall under one group. And they have a policy that if they don't make 70% profit in a couple of years, they close that business down. So they're real serious about business. They shop with each other. Not that they don't shop with other people, but they shop with each other. They have to hire Ghanaians because that's part of the policy here. You have to hire people from Ghana to work for you. So no matter what happens, Ghanaians definitely are making money off of any company that comes through. But, you know, when we come, a lot of times it's like we just trying to get up out of America. So, you know, we're some of us are doing some things, like a brother's building this nice waterfront property. I think he has about 14 units up, but it's like very, you know, luxurious. You have a brother who built a hospital, a $5 million hospital back in the day. His son took it over once he passed, and then I think they leased it to another company. One sister has a school that's been around for almost 20 years. Another sister from the UK. You know, so things like that. But as far as like these big, you know, contracts in reference to infrastructure, is not too many of us that's doing that.
Let me ask you this.
And this is everywhere. If you look at the Chinese, are literally everywhere, not just in Africa.
Right, right. Let me ask you this, if you know anything about this. You know, when you have, you know, properties and you're gonna sell one and buy another. I forget that exchange you call it. You know of anyone who sold something here and was able to go over there and like cash a property out, although it's different countries?
To cash the property out, maybe I'm not really understanding the question. So if they had some property in America
Right.
and they sold it,
And you know, you keep this money in this exchange. I think the doctor, if he was on, he knows what I'm talking about. This 10-some exchange where you leave the money in escrow until you purchase another property. I was wondering, could that be done outside the country? I probably need to talk to a real estate expert about that.
yeah, well, it will be, say, if you had money just in an account. So if I'm understanding correctly, say you sell a place there in the States, you make a couple $100,000 off the house. That money goes into a bank account.
Right.
You can always transfer money over to, you open up a bank account here, you transfer money over. You can transfer it into somebody's account you might trust over here. You can come here and also pull money out of the ATM according to the limit that you have with your bank. So it's not a problem getting your money from there to here.
No. No, what I was talking about is about this exchange. So you, like in America, if you sell a property, like a rental property, to have a few of them, and you know, to avoid a whole lot of taxes, you have to buy a property of equal value or close to equal value to avoid paying all of those taxes. And I was wondering if that could be done from one country to the other.
Oh, I'm not sure about other countries, but as far as Ghana, I would say no. When it comes down to taxes, it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky over here, but you know, Ghana's Ghana, and America, United States is another country.
All right. I just thought you
So
might.
I would say no to that.
All right. Appreciate you.
Well, and it makes me think about the taxes. So, for example, I'm here, I do business and I make money here, right? But if I do $99,000, over $99,000 within a year, that amount over that amount, that whatever it comes to that's over 99,000, I have to report that to the United States. So that's dealing with income taxes. But as far as if you're here and just dealing with land here in Ghana, there's no land that's really for sale. It's just lease. You can do like a 50-year lease if you're not a citizen, and if you're a citizen, it's 99 years. And it's always up for renewal by the person who owns the land. If you're not alive, then your family members can renew. Now, when it comes down to paying taxes on the land, if you get it in your personal, it's not too much. It's like on the books, but it's not really so much enforced. You do have it to where if you're respecting the culture, that you have something yearly that you give to the chief of the land, of that traditional chief of that land. So there's not really like a lot of taxes
So
in a sense in the first place on the land.
So Americans cannot purchase land there; they can just lease it.
Right. Even other Ghanaians too. They're going from one place to the other, and it's not their family land. It's 99 years if you're a citizen. Now I'm a citizen now, so I can get land at 99 years. And people have a problem with that. That was something I was going to talk about later in the presentation. But people do have an issue with, well, how come I can't own land? And I ask people all the time, do you have a mortgage? Do you own the house that you're in right now? You understand? A lot of people are in a 30-year, mortgage, and sometimes the refinance to take it even longer, and never own the house. You know what I'm saying? Or they've been renting, this whole time. So I've never lived in any place for 50 years so far. No one place for that, long. And at the end of the day, you're still able to do what you need to do with that land. The land, even though it's leased to you, it's still yours. As long as you got your paperwork and everything in order, it's still yours. Now, land issues is a big problem here when it comes down to, and I'm going to speak on Ghana, when it comes down to people reselling land that's not theirs or even might be theirs, and they just resell it several times. I had land I bought, and then after me, 4 other people came and bought. I have land in the mountains now. I went to go check on. They have 3 other titles. I mean, 3 titles altogether. So a lot of corruption. When it comes down to dealing with lands. People get killed over land issues. And I'm talking about mostly Ghanaians, but definitely some diasporans have had, we've had some issues around that. So one of the things that you want, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Somebody's asking a question.
Yes, this is Linda. I'm sorry to interrupt, and I'm sorry I came in late. And do you have a dual citizenship?
Not necessarily. I just didn't give up my citizenship in America. Dual citizenship. So when I got my citizenship here in Ghana, they asked me, did I want to apply for dual citizenship? I was like, okay, what's the difference? So it's $500 or CDs or what? I'm not sure exactly what denomination it was. But my thing was, I didn't necessarily want to bridge the two, because as far as America is concerned, they don't know I'm a citizen in Ghana. So
Right,
I just made it to where I have my citizenship here, and then I still have my citizenship in America.
Excuse me, Linda, we're going to come to you. I got a rotation that I'm doing. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, were you finished, Dr. Sharita?
Yeah.
So let me just go to Brother Mashinda. Brother Mashinda.
Hey, good evening. What's up, man? How you doing?
All right.
Sister Sharita, how you doing tonight? Thank you for
Yes,
coming on.
I'm everything as well. Thank you.
Um, I have a couple things. I'll try to be brief. Um, so, let's see, where was I? So you said you stream from Ghana on YouTube. What days?
On Thursday, 6 p.m. this time, 11 in LA, 11
LA,
a.m.
11,
on Thursday
11, you said 11 a.m. in LA?
in LA. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So it's nice meeting you. I studied with your father. I think it was back in '92 to about '94. I used to go over to New Body, New Earth over there on Compton Boulevard, and he used to have classes, free classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was one of his students, and I studied, iridology and a few things. And I never it was for a personal reason, just self enhancement and things like that. I shared with others, but my goal was probably not to be a business person, with what I was doing, because it was just a transformation that I was going through, which and it helped me a whole lot. So I want to thank you for keeping it going, because it's had an impact on my life. So, but anyway,
Oh, thank you for sharing.
oh, for sure. So I'm a former distributor. So is it still cheap to renew my distributorship?
Um, it's
Well, I tell
30
you what I used to
$30.
do. Go 30 the bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Now, is the young lady still working there? And I don't know, when I call her young, she's probably have matured somewhat, but she used to work in the I guess in the not in the store, but in the distributorship office. You remember the young lady that used to kind of work in the front? I guess you had many, but I can't think of her name. She was uh oh man, she worked
You
there for
remember the
years.
time? Like when? What year? What
We're
year?
talking about we're talking about like in the 90s, and she was there for a long time. I think she left and came back. I mean, I can describe her. She was maybe on the dark complected side, maybe kind of had maybe a little weight on her, but not real big. But she used to work the front. I can't think of her name, but she was always very professional and kind of renewed my distributorship, when I would come in
Only
town.
person
I
I
don't
can
know,
think of is Terrell.
what's her name?
Terrell. That's the only person I can think about is Terrell.
Terrell. Is that a female?
Yeah.
Okay, it could be her name. I'm not sure. So I guess we'll have to leave that alone for now. But
Yeah, but she's
I
not
used
there to answer your
I
question.
she said she's not there, huh?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. But anyway, I like to thank you for, like I say, coming on. I'm familiar with a lot of the products, that you guys have. I've done like olive oil flushes and things like that. And I've actually, um, introduced them to several people who have, had success with, those products. And like I say, I became a distributor by default, but I was definitely in it for, like I say, personal knowledge and self fulfillment, and trying to better and trying to make myself, take my game to another level as it relates to my health. But I'm a believer in it because of the fact that it, the results. Results is everything. So I like to thank you for being a part of that and keeping the legacy going on. But like I say, I studied with your dad for a good while, maybe a couple years. On those, like I say, I'd go to the classes and different things like that back in the day. I'm in Louisiana, so do you guys?
Mhm.
I won't say franchise, but maybe I guess maybe I'm asking my own question, but I guess if I renew my distributorship, and I can work my magic with New Body, New Earth, down here in Louisiana. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. We have a few distributors there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they
but
don't.
you just order and sell.
That's right. Okay. I'm just, yeah. Okay. I
Hmm.
was just making sure that the model hasn't gotten more complicated, So, you've been
Yeah, our
pretty
website is newbodyproducts.net. So just go to the website, newbodyproducts.net,
New
and you
Body.
can start from there.
Is there some newbody.net? Is there newbodyproducts.net? Is there a way I can
Yeah,
renew
Newbody
my,
Products. Yeah.
yeah, newbodyproducts.net. Is there any way I can
Hmm.
renew my distributorship, online?
You have to call in first, or just send an email, and
Okay.
then we'll make sure that we update your account so you can get access.
Okay, so it's newbodyproducts.net. I can submit that information through newbodyproducts.net.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
You're welcome.
Let me see. I got a couple of things. Are you familiar with like olive leaf extract?
Yeah.
Is that something good or bad or indifferent? Yeah, what's your opinion?
It's good. It's good for bringing down the blood pressure, and it's good for viruses as well.
Okay. Yeah, I just bought some of those products, a friend of mine that I trust, recommended, and sometimes, certain people I talk to, I don't ask questions because we have a working, we have history. And so I haven't started taking that yet, but I do have, I bought a couple of bottles of that, and it requires a cap size. And I just wanted to hear your opinion about that. Um, well, anyway, I don't think I'll be moving to Ghana. Very interested. Maybe I'll visit Ghana one day. I'm trying to figure out Louisiana. It's a lot of roots down here, a lot of things going on. But I'm a social scientist slash all the above, and so. But I appreciate you coming on tonight, and thank you for sharing. Okay.
Okay, thank you. My people from Louisiana too. My mother's side, Baton
What
Rouge.
part? Baton Rouge. Okay, I'm outside of New
Mhm.
Orleans, so okay. Good enough.
Mhm.
So yeah. So thank you for coming on tonight. We really appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, Sister Linda.
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, I just had a couple things. Dr. Sharita, I'm excited. I'm so excited that you're on here. And I know you don't really remember me when I lived in California, but my brother Reginald Muhammad, he's still a distributor. And
Okay. And Reginald was in Atlanta, right?
yeah, yes, he's still in Atlanta, yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And he's supposed to be on tonight. But my question is, there was a catalog that I had years ago, and I misplaced it. I'm back in Florida. Do you still have those catalogs that kind of break down the product and what it's for?
You can get it on the website. You can
Oh, I
just go to
can? Okay.
newbodyproducts.net. Yeah, and then you'll see it at the top catalog to the top right. You'll see a
Okay.
word that says catalog. You click on it, and it'll give
Okay, I
you a
will.
PDF copy.
Okay, I sure will. Yes. And then are there any distributors here in Florida?
Yeah, we have some there.
Okay, well, how would I find them off the website also or what?
Um, you would have to send an email and requesting the people in Florida. Just give like the city or the zip code, and then we'll
Okay.
find one for you.
Okay. Okay, I still just have
And you can
a
also
couple just
become a distributor yourself.
I knew okay. I still have what about our any iridologists here in Florida? That I have not found.
Um, we'll have to talk to the office. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
there's some there, but we'll have to look in our database.
Okay, yes. All righty. Now, in Ghana, though, what about the education system for children? What's your opinion about that?
Oh, okay. It's really good. I don't think you heard. I was talking about that earlier.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
The education system here
Mhm.
is I think it's good. I mean, you have, just like over in the States, you have the really good areas, and some of areas, not so great. But there's so many different options as far as the education. But I find that here the education system is more theory, where we're more practical, theory and practical over in the States. For example, if you're dealing with like teaching computers, if the schools can afford to have computers, they're still going to teach to have an IT class. They're just going to have a book that talks about this is a computer, this is a mouse, this is a keyboard, and tell you all the mechanics of it, but then maybe never touch a computer just because they, don't have access. And then you have schools that have everything. I mean, as far as different sports, they have different languages. They have teachers from all over the world. They have the best books, the best, everything. And you pay a lot for those private schools.
Okay.
Definitely more expensive than the U.S. in reference to private schools.
Wow.
So, and then you can also homeschool your children too. A lot of people are doing that. They have their children online online with schools there in the United States, like the public schools, where they can learn online. Because during COVID, there was a lot of people who had to go online, so they just kind of continued.
Oh, okay.
But I would say it's good. And my children, by the time they got to back to the States, they were 2 years ahead.
Ahead, really? Wow. I can believe that. Wow.
Yeah, I just shared
If you think about it, when it comes down to the education system, if you're in the States and you go to university graduation, the top of the class is always going to be an African, an Indian, and an Asian.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. You're right.
Okay.
Especially Nigerians. They're one of the most educated Black people on the planet.
Okay. Yeah. And one other question, please. Just one other question. You mentioned on Thursday nights, that's where you have your show on every Thursday night. Can you repeat that information, please?
Well, if you go into online, just go to New Earth. Yeah, New Earth on YouTube, and just go to the channel.
Okay. New Earth, and just go to YouTube.
And just find New Earth on YouTube.
Great. Okay, sure will. And you say every Thursday, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And what was the time frame again? Because I know you said the California time, and I'm a different time zone. So can you give me the time again? Eastern Standard.
So 11 o'clock in California.
So that'll be 8 o'clock here.
No, 2 o'clock there, Linda.
Oh, 2. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll get it correct.
Yeah.
2 p.m. or 2 a.m.?
2 p.m.
Gotcha. On Thursdays. Got it. Okay.
And also everybody that's on the call this evening, if you want to see the website, I just shared it on the screen. I don't know if you're able to see it, but I shared it, and if you replay it, you'll be able to see it on, and I can share it again before it's over. So, okay, I want to go to the next person, Sandra Henderson. Are you able to unmute? Okay, maybe not. Raxton Thomas, are you able to unmute?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just listening. I don't have no question.
Okay. Appreciate you.
All right.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
So, okay, Sandra, are you available?
Yes.
Question,
Good evening.
comment?
Yeah, comment and maybe a question too. Good evening, everybody. I'm sorry that I came in late. I was blessed with the opportunity to visit Ghana in '95. And that was one of my questions that I wanted to ask her about the infrastructure, but she answered it already. But there's a myth that I used to hear years ago because I didn't experience that when I went to Ghana. I was very welcome. I had a very good time. But can you talk a little bit about how well Ghanaians accept Black Americans when we visit there? Because they treated me very nice, but I used to tell people all the time, you need to go visit Africa. You need to go see Ghana. You need to go. And they said, oh, them people don't like us over there. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I don't know where that started. I've been here 18 years. Come August will be 18 years. And somewhere along the way, that has come up. And I was saying earlier, you get what you put out. So if you come over here and you just mean, then that's what you're going to meet. Mean people, you know. But
Exactly.
and I think that's anywhere you go, you know. But generally speaking, I would say it might have come more from the more educated Africans. So for example, I dated a guy for like 4 years. He was originally from Ghana, but he went to school in Kenya, Botswana, was it Mozambique? I know they lived in like seven different countries because his father was some sort of diplomat. And then he went to school in America for 8 years, got his degree in whatever, and then came back to Ghana. His sister still lives in America, and I think the brother is living in another, I think Senegal or something like that. So I met a different type of Black man on the planet, or Black people, right? Dealing with him and being in that circle of people who got money, people who are educated. He spoke 7 different languages, you know, real down to earth, but you know, not necessarily the family always so down to earth. A lot of people was very bougie. So I think, and then a lot of them have lived, you know, outside in America, the UK, and things like that. So one of the things that he told me was that a lot of times he defends us when they call us a kata. Now, kata is a name, which is I understand it's a Nigerian language, which one I'm not sure, but it means wild animal. And so he said when he was coming to America to go to school, one of the things that they'll tell you is stay away from the African Americans, stay away from the Black people there because, you know, they're pimps and gangsters and this, that, and the other. I've heard times when they actually did some kind of orientation and show a film and showing all these just the negative sides of Black people in America. So, and the same thing happened like with Nkrumah. He was told not to communicate and mix with us, but he wanted to go into the Black neighborhoods. He wanted to see people like him. So because he did that, he was able to, that started his Pan-African, journey. And he learned his Pan-Africanism in America, in going to a historically Black college, Lincoln. So and this guy that I dated was the same thing. He was just like, no, I want to see where my people are, and then he started hanging out with the folks in the hood, and learning, started listening to reggae, and that was like the seed for his Pan-Africanism, and he was able to get a different understanding than the stereotype that they had gave us. So I would say that's coming more from the more educated African that knows that. For example, being that he lived in America, just like us, we can tell who has money. We can tell who don't have money. We can tell who's fronting like they got money. You know what I'm saying? And so when you see an educated Nigerian or Ghanaian, they might feel that they're better than you because they have more education. They come from maybe generations of money and things like that. So I would say that kind of falls more in a classism when it comes down to them not so-called not liking us. But as far as I'm concerned, I adopted this attitude that this sister gave to me some time ago. She said, no matter where I go, everybody loves me.
I know
So
that's
that's
right.
how I look at it. No matter where I go, everybody loves me.
I have one more question. Have you ran into any mothers, parents that's dealing with children that's on the spectrum with autism? If you know anything about autism, can you give me some kind of suggested advice about what type of herbs that they can take? You know, they might be too young, but what a parent can do, because I just think that children that's on the spectrum, they're not supposed to eat the food. It's like, to me, I think they should be vegetarians or vegans. Or do you know anything at all?
Well, yeah, not only that, one is the vaccination. We need to learn how to deal with our own natural vaccination, prophylactic. People say, well, do you believe in vaccinations? I do, but I don't believe in these chemicals that they're giving us. And being here in Africa, I've learned different prophylactics that people take every day before they leave the house, traditionally. Now, things have changed because, Christianity has made a lot of things change as far as dealing with herbs, and the herbalist and a priest or priestess, that it's all juju, it's all, voodoo or whatever. So a lot of people have gotten away from the herbs, but at the same time, West Africa is still, dealing with that. And they just do simple things like just take fruit leaves like avocado leaves, papaya leaves, mango leaves, orange, what have you, soursop leaves or whatever, make it into a big tea or a tonic and then it stays on the stove for about 3 days. They make a new batch every 3 days. And every morning, everybody takes a half cup to a cup, before they leave out to go to school or work. And those are different things. You also get it from your mother, the colostrum during its first, days of breastfeeding. So these are different natural ways to, just keep your body strong and fortified to be able to fight off any types of diseases. But one of the things that definitely has to happen is the sugar. A lot of times it's also the mother that's giving, either breastfeeding and eating too much sugar or eating the wrong things, drinking alcohol, what have you. And then you also have the things that you give to the children directly with all these cereals with sugars and things like that. So sugar is one of the things you want to take away unless it's natural sugar from a fruit. And then the other thing that I have a friend that's in child development, and she said one of the things that she found, because I was saying, oh, it's the vaccinations and all this, and she said, yeah, it's all that, but the main thing she's finding is social media, the constant, online looking at, so many different posts, videos that are like 6 seconds, 15 seconds being played over and over and over and over. So it's like you're constantly downloading this information, but then there's no outlet. You're not playing, you're not exercising, you're not doing other things to be able to release, all this download. So are you not even speaking to even talk about what you're downloading? You know what I'm saying? There's no outlet. So between sugar, vaccination, and this social media, those are some of the things that you would have to do to change the environment of the child. When they're on the spectrum, there's so many different. The spectrum is so wide, so it also depends on what part of the spectrum that they're on. One of the situations she shared with me was, so she deals with mothers and helping mothers to to deal with, you know, an autistic child. And so she was getting off the phone with me to take this call of a woman who's trying to deal with her 4-year-old. And this little boy learned how to speak Russian, several different languages, but Russian, he was talking about Russian. And this is a little black boy. And I said, how did he learn to speak Russian? Just literally going to channels that are on YouTube in Russian and just listening to Russian, and he learned how to speak it. And so one of the problems he was having with his mom was, or the mother was having with him was, anytime she asked him to do something or he wants to talk to him and he doesn't want to talk to her, then he starts talking in the language. He starts talking in Russian. You know, so she made a very strong point as to social media being a big problem when it comes down to this autism. Because before, you know, there's, you know, you didn't know that you were on the spectrum. And then as I look back, I've seen a lot of people that I know, I mean, probably even include myself, that were on the spectrum in one way or the other as far as this autism. So the other thing is just finding different foods that deals with the brain. Look up foods that look up brain foods and make sure that you eat, you know, those things. You have herbs like gotu kola, which is really good, and ginkgo, which is good. There's a substance called phosphatidylserine that comes from derived from a soy lecithin. It's very expensive, but it's really good for helping to focus. As well as just making sure that the child is getting in lots of greens and that you're doing dewormers every 3 months. Because sometimes parasites can also change behavior as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Dr. Sharita, this information has been excellent, and I would like to ask you to come back on at some point and visit with us and bring us some more good information. It's you know, I've been going a natural path for a while now, and your family's business has been a blessing for our community, and we really need to investigate and become more adept in researching and trying different ways of nutrition. And definitely your organization has helped us out a lot. And I give high thanks and praise for you and your family for doing what you did for the Black community, especially in Compton, where I was raised. And so it's just a wonderful thing to be able to access people like yourself and give us information that'll help uplift us and put us in a position where we should be as people. So I really appreciate you. I don't want to hold you too long because I know it's past 2 a.m. your way. And
Well, I
so,
want to say I appreciate, you know, the community as well, because it's like, we're not putting a gun to your head. You have to decide yourself that you want to feel better, be better. And, you know, we were there to help accommodate that. But then we also learned a lot too. I always learn from my clients, always learn from the community. Somebody always has some new information. Have you guys heard about this? You heard about this product? We do our investigation. We learn a lot just from somebody bringing information, you know, to us. And then just being able to share, you know, when in somebody's victory, you know, when they're trying to overcome, you know, different elements, it's very inspiring. Even what you're saying is very inspiring, because sometimes, you know, this community activism work is not easy, as they say over here. It's not it's not easy. And and you know, you have to always be like me. I just came back last Thursday, and I was there for almost 3 months. And oh my God, I was just so worn out. I mean, I just don't, after being over here for so long and even visiting other countries, it's hard for me to be in the United States. That damn Erica, as his brother says, America KKK. It's not easy, and especially it's like brother, it's good that you're given the accolades and things like that, because like I said, it inspires me, and it keeps me going, and it gives me the understanding of why we need to keep going, because we look at the progress of our people and you feel like we should be a little bit further ahead. If I'm looking at my father and a lot of his comrades being in the game 40, 50, 60 years, and then looking back and seeing that we're in the same condition or not very much advancement, I have to look at the people who actually have, seek help and went ahead and received the help and did something about, their condition. And like I said, watching the victories is what helps. It's what becomes discouraging is, for example, I think about a month ago, so we're in the city of Compton too. We live in Compton, as well as we're not one of those people that live in Compton and then go, somewhere to the suburbs. I was born and conceived there, in Compton. And so the other day, some gang violence happened, and it was a shootout, which is very rare on my street or in my neighborhood to have that. But even though, like it's Compton, but the bullets went into the neighbor's house right next door to us.
Hmm.
And had they been in front of our house, I would have got shot, as well as my daughter, because we were in the front of the house. The neighbors luckily were in the back part of their house, and so nothing happened. They're short as well, so the bullets had went kind of up towards the top part of the walls in their house, and they said they get just big holes throughout the house. And I'm just thinking, I live in Africa. I live in Ghana. Like, why am I here doing this for what?
Yeah.
Like what? I'm sacrificing my own health to take care of other people's health. It's like an oxymoron. You know what I'm saying? So it gets to the point where I'm glad I was able to become part of this group of healers that's on WhatsApp, because we talk about a lot of these different things, and a lot of us are in our communities taking care of our people. And we talk about some of these challenges, that we go through, but then at the same time, we're also inspiring each other and trying to, keep each other going to make sure that, okay, nobody gets to stop. That's something that we always all accomplish. We don't get to stop. We can take a break. We can also reach out to each other, like when we're not feeling good and we need somebody to help us, which a lot of our elders, my father, Dr. Sabi, Dr. Africa, the living ones, Queen Afua, Dr. Reese Latham, you don't hear about them going to somebody else, to talk about their problem. They dealt with a lot of their issues alone. So now, it does take everybody to make sure that we're all working together to take care of ourselves. I have more clients that look at, how's the doctor doing? You know what I'm saying? I have people that because I'm very transparent. If I'm not feeling good, I'm gonna tell you I'm not feeling good. You know what I'm saying? But I have clients that need to be, if I have to cancel, I'll go ahead and do it. I don't just show up and try to front like everything is okay, and I'm suffering while I'm trying to take care of you. So because now we have this camaraderie amongst, different healers, and the healer platform I'm talking about, we're in probably 5 to 6 different countries, and we're coming together in February here in Ghana, and we are also trying to get other people, like the brother who was on earlier, who said he got the he studied under Dr. Goss and went through the iridology. We want our people to step up and start getting out there and helping us in these streets. We need more warriors, in the healing warriors, to step up and start doing some of the work, even if it's just on a small scale, even if it's just taking care of your own household or your neighborhood, or taking care of your family members, or maybe something if you're part of a church group or some kind of organization, making it to where a health segment is always part of it. You know what I'm saying? So it makes it easier for the people who's doing the work on a regular basis. We can have like a little, reprieve a little bit, and it's kind of happened that way because of social media. We get a lot of different people that's out there that's pushing the information about wellness, and they're doing very well. They're young. They're bringing in a young crowd. So it does help to be able to have a more educated client, and that's what's happening. That's a good side of social media, is that we're getting more people to, look up their own situation and do their own research on their own problems. And so when they come in, it's easier to help that person. So so we do appreciate everyone taking interest in their own health, because if you're healthy, then your family is healthy, your community becomes healthy, and then our people as a whole, will become healthier individuals, at least more conscious, about our health.
Yes. Domino effect. Each one teach one. Conscious Corner. Community Education Network. This is what we're all about. We are in support of what you do, and we are a part of what you do, Dr. Sharita, and we appreciate you. Braxton Thomas, we'll go with you. You had your hand up, and we want to let Dr. Sharita get some rest here.
Yes, I just wanted to express that I enjoy listening to I came on a little late, maybe about 25 minutes later, 30. And I was just listening, and one thing I would like to leave the doctor with, as well as the audience and the Conscious Corner here, is that this is such a new age for us, for our people, and for the whole world at large. A total and absolutely new age. Many things will happen that is absolutely new. Not new in the sense that it in and of its essence is new, but because it's new for the people that are here today. We are people that are here, were not here before so many generations. We're talking about over 8,000 years. And, life itself has a plan for all of us. And so many times we overlook what is the plan of life for us, because without life, nothing exists. So we're all here at the bequest of life. And so life is trying to communicate with us, trying to let us know that truth is the only thing that we need. What is the relevance of Mr. Putin making his declaration? That has a lot to do with our health, mentally and physically and spiritual health, not just of our people, but for the entire peoples of the family of the planet Earth, the humanity itself. And how does that connect to what we're discussing here today? I've been traveling since I was 7 years old, living in different countries. And for me, traveling is nothing new. But to a lot of African Americans, Black people here, which is the same as the Black people in the Caribbean islands, and as well as in the home mother and father land, Africa, we're all one people. But for the African American here, many of us have only traveled because we joined the armed forces, and we never really traveled anywhere else outside of that, more than from the north to the south, or from the south to the north, when vacation came about. So the whole idea of even going to Africa or anywhere is a new experience. So I just wanted to leave to put that comment out there to say, as well as what the good doctor can do for all of us, and the legacy that her and her father and others like Sabi. I knew Sabi personally. I knew Laila Africa personally. I bathed his feet when he came down to Florida, I had a program there, and I still do. And you know, he was one of the gentlemen that took his program because one of my people were one of his proteges. And I introduced him to what I was doing. And one of the processes was to bathe the feet of those who are honored and those who are elders in our communities, wherever they are. And so that's something that will always be, you know, dear to me, that experience I had with Dr. Lila Africa, as well as my experience with Sabi himself. So I just wanted everybody to understand we have to reconnect so that what Dr. Schick is doing becomes more effective. Reconnect to nature, reconnect to the truth about who we are, accept who we are, and live who we are without doubt or without fear, and love who we are so we can love each other. And that's just what I wanted to say. So thank you, my sister, for coming in, being here. God bless you. May the righteous ancestors continue to stay with you, and may the negative ions that radiate throughout life constantly be multiplied within your essence of life to keep you going, to keep you well, and keep those around you well, and all your loved ones well. So negative ions is what we need to produce and conjure up and call for. Peace and love. Conscious corner, more power to you. I love you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate you,
Love
brother.
you, Black. Madasi, Papa. That's how we say thank you very much in Tree, which is the main language spoken here. Madasi. Papa. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Sharita, any last words for us before you part?
Just, I would say, just meditate on a lot of things. But if you're looking to come here, just really meditate and tap in to the Most High, tap into your ancestors. Because when you come here, you're bringing your ancestors as well. I am the second, as far as my family, to come to live in Africa. I had some cousins that lived here in Zimbabwe for a couple of years doing IT. Long time ago. But I'm the first to be here, you know, as long. And I know when I came, I brought my ancestors with me. And I wrote a letter to my ancestors and asking them that, you know, to find a way for me to be able to stay here and live here and prosper here. And then I would do whatever they need me to do on their behalf. And because I did that, my steps, all my steps are guided. Every thought that I think, every thought that I have is already manifesting itself just as I speak, because I've tapped into that high energy, that higher self, where our ancestors reside. And I'm telling you, it just really makes a big difference to go into that, you know, praise and meditation. I always say you see better with your eyes closed. So I'll end with that. You see better with your eyes closed.
Teach, sister, teach. Excellent. Appreciate you. And hopefully we can get you back here sooner than later. And I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that came out to witness this evening. It was excellent. Thanks for your participation, everybody. And we're going to take our pause. Each one teach one in Conscious Corner. Have a good evening and have a good morning.